Let's begin with the next election as the wave of voter restriction laws continues to wash over red state after red state.
Nobody seems to know exactly what Donald Trump is going to say tonight.
There are going to be some voters in the Hudson Valley wondering if a vote for Kasich is wasting their vote.
Cheney in the piece sure sounds like a woman who knows her time in House leadership is up. This will be a reverse vote. So a yes vote here means you don't want to hear from John Bolton. A no vote means you do. Is this the campaign you wanted when this campaign began? If she loses any of these states, Georgia and any other state up here, then Donald Trump is going to be elected president. This is Pulaski Park. We're just 3 blocks off of Main Street and a couple of buildings down from City Hall. And despite the no smoking signs and the kids playing everywhere, you can definitely smell smoke in the park.
It's a personal connection for me. My family stayed here in 1985. It actually hurts a little bit to see the way that it's fallen into disrepair.
Magnifico's kind of shouldn't work. I mean, it's on a busy highway. It's easy to miss. But you know, in the back seat of those cars, the kids are going, ice cream.
As expected, Republicans had the vote to filibuster and block the bill that would have created a bipartisan riot commission, one in which each party could pick its own members, both sides could issue subpoenas, and one that would finish by the end of this year, keeping it away from the 2022 midterms, which Republicans publicly feared. Here, the all but final death knell of the riot commission.
On this vote, the yeas are 54, the nays are 35. 3/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn not having voted in the affirmative. The motion is not agreed to.
If you're doing the math, no, all 100 senators did not vote today, and their absences did impact the final outcome. More on that in a moment. Democrats can continue to force votes on the commission proposal in the future, but that figures to be less of a realistic push and more political theater. There was almost no public debate on the commission vote, just 3 speakers. Here are bits from 2 of them. Okay, so let's break down today's commission vote. There were some displays of political courage among some Republicans, and they deserve credit for their votes. There were just 5 of them. Louisiana's Bill Cassidy, Maine's Susan Collins, Alaska's Lisa Murkowski, Ohio's retiring Rob Portman, and Nebraska's Ben Sasse. That's 5 Republicans who crossed the line to vote yes, fewer than the 7 Republicans who voted to remove Donald Trump from office during his second impeachment trial. Then come the profiles in cowardice, starting with the 4 retiring Republicans who did not vote yes and did not vote no. They didn't vote at all. The most disappointing for Democrats, North Carolina's Richard Burr and Pennsylvania's Pat Toomey both had voted to convict Trump. Neither voted at all today. But blame for the outcome of today's vote, it's not entirely on Republicans alone. 2 of the 50 Democratic senators also missed this key vote. Arizona's Kyrsten Sinema, who has been on the fence about the commission and who opposes filibuster reform, skipped the vote with no explanation given. But Washington's Patty Murray, who's up for re-election next year, was also absent, a surprise to many. Murray released a statement saying she had to fly home for a personal family matter and pledged to keep fighting for a commission. It'll be interesting to hear more from her and reaction in both Washingtons in the coming days. Jonah Reichnitz, who donated $25,000 to Rob Astorino's campaign in 2013, testified he helped Astorino buy the Rolex, claiming Astorino paid $2,000 for the $10,000 watch. Reichnitz claims he paid the rest. Reichnitz is known to lie and pleaded guilty in an NYPD bribery case in June of last year. But none of his claims about Astorino have been countered in court. Astorino denies Reichnitz helped pay for the watch.
Well, I bought a watch. It was down in the Diamond District, and I paid for the watch.
To back up Astorino's claim, his campaign released receipts showing Astorino made a purchase of just under $2,000 from a Diamond District jeweler in October of 2013. We enhanced the picture to make it easier to read. But that receipt doesn't contradict Reichnitz's claim that Astorino paid $2,000 and Reichnitz paid the rest of the cost of the watch. In addition, the Astorino campaign released the Rolex's warranty card showing the style number 116610. That stands for a Rolex Submariner. The card also has other information to help us get an idea of how much the watch is really worth, including the date the Rolex was first sold new in April of 2013, just 6 months before Astorino purchased it used on October 16, 2013. And less than 3 weeks before Astorino was re-elected. The website of Tarrytown Jewelers lists a newer used version of the same watch, serial number 116610, selling for more than $7,800. Another from 2014 is going for $7,500. Other websites list similar watches at $7,700, just under $8,000, a little over $8,000, and the cheapest, just under $7,000. We also reached out to 7 different watch resellers in our region. None would talk on camera, fearing retribution or damage to their businesses. But on the phone, they quoted me prices between $6,000 and $8,000. When I asked about buying the watch for just $2,000, they said those numbers don't make sense, was under market value, and called the price very low and super low. But maybe all these stores are just overcharging.
I mean, we're in the Diamond District. Who the hell is going to overpay in the Diamond District?
So I went to the Diamond District and found the store, Danella Diamonds, where Astorino bought his watch.
Submariner?
And posing as a customer, I went inside. They had one Submariner for sale. It's about 20 years older than Astorino's. The store was selling it for $5,800. When I mentioned that a customer claimed he bought a Submariner there in 2013 for $2,000, the clerk said, quote, maybe he confused the store, and added no, it was not possible that they sold a Rolex Submariner for $2,000. I then identified myself as a reporter and talked to the store manager.
And the witness testified that he paid on top of what the public official did. Are you familiar with the story?
I can't help you with anything.
Are you familiar with the story?
I can't help you with anything, sir. Thank you.
Because we cannot see the exact watch Astorino purchased or know its condition, we can't be sure of the exact price. But the prices we did get, including from the store where Astorino's watch was sold, seem to make Jonah Reichnitz's testimony more plausible and raises more questions about Astorino's claims. Andrew Whitman, FiOS 1 News.
There is one talking point we've been hearing ever since we got to Northampton that frankly is just hard to believe. That despite the availability of legal over 21 marijuana for sale to everybody, that there just aren't incidents of people lighting up and smoking throughout town. No nuisance complaints, as it were. Seems hard to believe, so we decided to go on a hunt and put that theory to the test. First stop, this park and skate park just off of downtown Northampton. It's about 5:30 in the afternoon, about a dozen people in the park. We didn't see or smell anybody using. We did ask one of the skaters. He said, not uncommon to see people smoking here from time to time. Next, we came here to Look Park. It's 150 acres of open spaces, playgrounds, campsites, even a train ride for the kids and pedal boats. We saw a lot happening in the park. We just didn't see anybody smoking cannabis. And it was the same story all over town until this is Pulaski Park. We're just 3 blocks off of Main Street and a couple of buildings down from City Hall. And despite the no smoking signs and the kids playing everywhere, you can definitely smell smoke in the park. What we don't know is if that's a result of legalization. Some people have told us it's a relatively new phenomenon, people smoking here. Others say it's been happening for a long, long time.
People smoke it all over the streets. It smells disgusting. They have no respect for anybody in front of kids, and it's horrible.
But a lot of other people told us a different story.
I don't personally see any impact to the community.
We haven't seen any major negative impacts.
We haven't noticed anything, I would say.
Certainly not a negative impact.
Certainly haven't noticed that much of a difference.
Not me, not at all.
We haven't seen increases in crime.
But we'll wait until we get actual crime data that we look at over a calendar year and see if we've noticed comparable differences or differences compared to other years. But we haven't noticed anything.
So then why did we see people smoking pot with kids nearby in a public park close to City Hall?
It's no longer a criminal offense, so we can't arrest someone for using. The most we can do is write them a money citation. If an officer sees that, sure, they will stop and say, hey, you can't consume publicly, and they'll have a conversation with them. They may issue them the citation. It's unlikely. You know, most people just pack up and say, hey, nobody wants them, you know, they don't want the money ticket.
Leaving all communities, whether considering legalization or not, with a choice. Make smoking in public a non-arrestable offense and you risk lots of public smoking, or keep the rules strict, which means more marijuana arrests. That's one of the things decriminalization and legalization were designed to reduce. But as it turns out, the biggest law and order or nuisance complaints since NETA opened here has little to do with the products they sell.
Cars,
just a lot of traffic.
And cars.
Traffic is a little heavier.
And cars.
It's a lot of traffic.
But there are other concerns.
It's about impaired operators over time.
Impaired operators is police chief speak for people driving while high. Now, there's been no alarm, no crisis. The numbers are apparently close to where they were before adult use was legalized. But still,
we don't have a bright line of, well, this is impairment, this isn't. We don't have good ways to measure it. So we're a little bit we're a little bit behind.
And that is a concern for every place where marijuana has been legalized or where it's under consideration. There's also one more law and order concern when it comes to legal cannabis, that all the people who come to NETA with out-of-state plates will be breaking the law just as soon as they cross the state line.
Someone who's coming over the line from Connecticut is welcome to come to NETA. But what we also say to that customer, you know you can't take cannabis across state lines.
We don't focus on what people are doing with marijuana once they get it. I think that's beyond our span of control. I can't predict what people are going to do with things that they get.